JAMB 2019 Literature in English question 21. This question is based on George Bernard Shaw's Arms and the Man. In what particular way did Raina demonstrate that she had fallen in love with Captain Blonsky by the end of their first meeting? The options given are A. By giving him chocolate creams which he preferred to bullets. B. By introducing him to her mother. C. By giving him her portrait with an inscription. And D. By saving his life from the Serbian soldiers. The correct answer to this question is C. By giving him her portrait with an inscription. This can be found in Act 3, where Raina asks Blonsky if he saw the portrait she left for him in the coat she gave him the night he escaped, that had an inscription that expressed her feelings to him. In other words, Raina had given Blonsky a portrait of herself with an inscription where she expressed how she felt towards him or her feelings towards him, but unknown to Blonsky. That is, Blonsky did not know that Raina had given him her portrait. So the correct answer to this question is C. By giving him her portrait with an inscription. JAMB 2019 Literature in English question 22. This question is based on George Bernard Shaw's Arms and the Man. The question says, open quote, "He did it like an operatic tenor, a regular handsome fellow with flashing eyes and lovely mustache, shouting his war cry and charging like Don Quixote at the windmill." Close quote. This account of an important battle in the play carries a tone of. The options given are A. Admiration, B. Mockery, C. Bitterness, and D. Alarm. The correct answer to this question is B. Mockery. This is because in the play, while the soldier who entered Raina's room was explaining what a cavalry charge was, he described the way Sergius did it without knowing who Sergius was to Raina. In other words, the night that the strange soldier entered into Raina's room to escape death, and Raina decided to help him, the soldier tried to explain what a cavalry charge was to Raina by describing the one that he had experienced that day on the battlefield. He described Sergius and the way he charged towards them in the battlefield, but unknown to him, he was describing Sergius, who was Raina's betrothed at the time. So his tone was that of mockery, because after describing, even while describing it to Raina, he was laughing throughout. So the correct answer to this question is B. Mockery. JAMB 2019 Literature in English question 23. This question is based on George Bernard Shaw's Arms and the Man. The way Loka carries out her duties as a maid at the Petkoff's household can be described as. The options given are A. Arrogant and insolent, B. Opportunistic and self-centered, C. Haughty and presumptuous, and D. Bold and self-assured. The correct answer to this question is A. Arrogant and insolent. This is because in the play, Loka's character was arrogant and insolent, especially to Raina. This can be seen in so many instances with her conversation and attitude or reaction towards Raina. Her arrogance and insolence was even described by the author as a handsome, proud girl. So the correct answer to this question is A. Arrogant and insolent. It can be seen in several instances in the play for those that have read it. JAMB 2019 Literature in English question 24. This question is based on George Bernard Shaw's Arms and the Man. Open quote, "That is a photograph of the gentleman, the patriot and hero to whom I am betrothed." Close quote. The gentleman referred to in this passage is, options given are A. Blonsky, B. Sergius, C. Petkoff, and D. Don Quixote. The answer to this question is B. Sergius. This is because in Act 1, after Blonsky had described the cavalry charge to Raina, Raina then showed him a photograph of Sergius and made the above comment, saying, "That is a photograph of the gentleman, the patriot and hero to whom I am betrothed." After she made this comment while showing Blonsky Sergius' photograph, Blonsky identified him as the soldier that led the cavalry charge, the one he nicknamed Don Quixote. So the correct answer to this question is B. Sergius. JAMB 2019 Literature in English question 25. This question is based on Thomas Hardy's The Mayor of Casterbridge. One of the main features that sustains the reader's interest in the novel is the A. Creation and resolution of conflicts. B. Sale of Henchard's wife. C. Exploration of comic plots. And D. With business in Casterbridge. The correct answer to this question is A. Creation and resolution of conflicts. This is because the ability of the author Thomas Hardy to create one conflict and resolution after the other makes the book interesting and sustains the reader's interest. In other words, Thomas Hardy was able to create challenges, one after the other, that the characters had to face and succeed, that made the book interesting. And an interesting book always sustains the reader's interest. So the correct answer to this question is A. Creation and resolution of conflict. JAMB 2019 Literature in English question 26. This question is based on Thomas Hardy's The Mayor of Casterbridge. What is represented by the characters of Henchard and Farfae in the novel is the options given are A. Contrast between the old and the new. B. Conflict between belief and unbelief. C. Conflict between a tragic and a comic hero. And D. Conflict between foolhardiness and kindness. The correct answer to this question is A. Contrast between the old and the new. This is because in the novel, Henchard represented tradition in his ideology and the way he does things, while Farfae represented innovation in his ability to introduce and apply new ideas and ideologies in his activities. In other words, for those that have read the novel, you find out that Henchard's character and the way he does things were old-fashioned. He was doing things in the way that they had always been done, without introducing any new form or strategy at all. While Farfae was innovative in his thinking, he was always bringing new ideas, new strategies on how to do things that resulted in various positive results. So the two characters represented the concept of tradition and innovation, old and new. So the correct answer to this question is A. Contrast between the old and the new. JAMB 2019 Literature in English question 27. This question is based on Thomas Hardy's The Mayor of Casterbridge. Characteristics in the novel is designed to show that man's fate is determined by. The options given here are A. His character. B. Forces beyond him. C. His social background. And D. His community. To understand this question, I'd like to explain what characteristics refers to. Characteristics here refers to the features of personality a character has. So the correct answer to this question is A. His character. This is because the author designs his characters and the general story in The Mayor of Casterbridge to show that man's will and character determines his fate. So the question, which says characteristics in the novel, is designed to show that man's fate is determined by. The correct answer is his character. JAMB 2019 Literature in English question 28. This question is based on Thomas Hardy's The Mayor of Casterbridge. Henchard arranged a meeting with Susan at the Ring instead of his house because the options given are A. The Ring was a meeting point for lovers. B. The Ring was a spot for appointments of furtive kind. C. Susan was ashamed to come over to his house. And D. His reputation as a church warden and mayor was at stake. The correct answer to this question is B. The Ring was a spot for appointments of furtive kind. This is because the Ring is described as a gloomy place with negative history, which led to superstitious beliefs, and as such is not a place people go to for fun, except of course for appointments of furtive kind. Furtive here means to avoid attention as a result of guilt or shame, that is, hiding from people as a result of guilt or shame. In this context, Henchard arranged a meeting with Susan at the Ring because he felt guilt and shame. So the correct answer to this question, as I said earlier, is the Ring was a spot for appointments of furtive kind. JAMB 2019 Literature in English question 29. This question is based on Thomas Hardy's The Mayor of Casterbridge. Hardy employs the character of Henchard to propagate the notion of. The options given are A. Confessing our weaknesses. B. Courageously combating adversity. C. Taking steadfast decisions. And D. accepting inevitable defeat. The correct answer to this question is A. Confessing our weaknesses. This is because the novel expresses the ability of the characters, especially Henchard, to confess their weaknesses. This can be seen when Susan confessed that Henchard was not the biological father of Elizabeth Jane, and when Henchard confessed the truth to Elizabeth Jane that he was not her biological father, and also when he confessed that he was a drunk that treated his wife poorly, among other instances. So we can see that one of the notions that Hardy employs the character of Henchard to propagate is that of confessing our weaknesses, which is option A. JAMB 2019 Literature in English, question 30. The question is based on Thomas Hardy's The Mayor of Casterbridge. What makes the novel a tragedy? The options given are A. The poetic justice in Henchard's punishment. B. All the characters in the novel are failures. C. A mixture of individual and circumstantial misfortune. And D. Thomas Hardy is a romantic and rustic pessimist. The correct answer to this question is A. The poetic justice in Henchard's punishment. This is because tragedy is a sad event that usually involves death. In this story, however, the tragedy is a sad event that involves the death of the protagonist or hero, which is Henchard. In other words, the novel is a tragedy because at the end of the story, after all the conflict and the resolutions, the protagonist still dies. So the correct answer to this question is A. The poetic justice in Henchard's punishment is the reason why the novel is a tragedy, since Henchard, after everything, still died at the end.